how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the channel. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're looking at the daily energy, the collective energy. So the beauty of astrology, energy, it affects us all, right? It shows up in different ways in our life. So I love to look at the astrology, any channeled messages I have for you, and then we also do tarot, some oracle. These candles are kind of crazy. I have to keep lighting them because they're like sparklers, so I apologize. Trying to keep the ambiance nice, right, for y'all. All right. So happy day. It has, we just are coming off of a full moon. Obviously, we are in a busy season with it being the end of the year. Lots of hopefully great times. Gosh, dude, they just don't want to stay lit. Hopefully you're enjoying your holiday season. I'm hoping that you're getting some rest and reprieve amidst all the hubbub, all the chaos, all the people, places, and things. And it's always good. Look, I always love starting out with an energy clearing and energy cleanse because we just pick up so much along the way, right? Energy really is just a subtler form of element, essentially. In the physical world, it's easier to see and understand because things are right in front of us. Energy and spirit is the more subtle layer. And when we are more sensitive, when we are more tapped in and tuned in, it can be easy to pick up those energies. We all do, right? That's why we do the cleansings. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy. That one popped out again. Pure love and grace. I release anything that does not serve us for the highest and best messages. Thank you for this time together. Bless our heart, our mind, our soul. Help me to be a clear channel. Amen. All right, so welcome. Thank you. I am gonna try to relight it because, I like it to look a certain way. I like my things in their neat, tiny packages. Maybe not so tiny. I like big packages too, don't we all? The favorite ones. It was actually really fun to watch my son open gifts. He's still quite young. And of course, he was going for the bigger things first. So it reminded me of just that lightness we have as children, just to kind of, believe in the best. Connecting to this idea that life is limitless. As children, it's really easy to tap into that way more than as adults because we're hammered down, by life. And the full moon definitely can carry an energy of that reminder because it does amplify everything. It's about the extremes, right? It's sun opposing the moon. So it's how we see ourselves, how we want other people to see us versus how we feel, how we nurture, how we support ourselves. And the full moon was in Cancer. I'm talking about this because there still is always residual energy. Usually with the moon phases, they say you're feeling it a couple days, 2.5, 3 days before and 2.5, 3 days after, depending on its intensity. So this is happy Thursday. I love Thursdays because they are the day of Jupiter. Jupiter is our fortune and our abundance. So it's a really good time to kind of see what's out there, especially surrounding goals that we have in mind, changes we're trying to see come into play. We still are feeling some of that residual tension. The astrology, if you've been keeping up with the videos, it's, we have stuff that is challenging that we have to overcome, but we also have a lot of really good support. The main aspects today, there is some tension. Both Mercury and Mars are square to Neptune. So this again is that reminder that we have to be really conscious about what we're thinking, what we're attaching onto, and what we're believing as well. Neptune energy can bring up lies, deceit, illusion, especially with Mercury in retrograde. Sometimes people try to get us to see something in a way that works out better for them. Shame. No, I'm kidding. No shame at this channel. We're all doing the best we can. That's my philosophy. You know, I mean, obviously there's difficult energies to deal with, lower vibrational energies, more physical energies is how I see it, right? Consciousness is a state of progression. We start at the most subtle layers, our consciousness, that energy that I was talking about in the very beginning, and it trickles down into physical manifestation. So if someone's not functioning at their best, it's just, they're just a little bit more broken. They're a little bit more hurt and in pain. What's that phrase? Hurt people hurt people. It's true. That's why it's so important to be conscious, be aware, to heal, to evolve. That is where we find, you know, just so much value and blessing, happiness, fulfillment. There has been this really reflective energy yesterday, today. I think that was in our full moon reading, but this element of just really being, you know, I think like not sitting for hours in contemplation, but I hear just like validating yourself, really kind of reflect where you've come from, what you've gone through, how you've overcome. Even in the places where we still hold shame, judgment towards ourselves, embarrassment, etc., there's always something that you've done right. You know, there's always something that you've done. I shouldn't say right. It's about honoring your soul, right? That is what right action is. And we all have different beliefs and perspectives around that. It doesn't mean, obviously, as you guys know, to go hog wild, but there is this element of just not clinging on to what other people are trying to force on you, that agenda. Awaken. This is so beautiful. It's like awakening to the potential. I feel like when we do reflect, we have the opportunity to see just how strong we are, you know, just how much we do go through, how much we do overcome. We don't always see it when we're in the thick of it. It can feel exhausting, daunting, depressing. You know, it can provoke anger, grief, sadness, and those energies have definitely been coming up. The cool thing about Jupiter energy, even though it is in retrograde, right now it's basically showing us the things that are kind of getting caught, that are getting in the way, is a better way to say it. And we have to be conscious and mindful of it. We actually do have some, like I was saying, that support, the harmonious aspect between Jupiter and Saturn today, where it's like the more aware we are, the more clarity we have around the things that need adjusting, the further we're stepping on our path, the closer we get to that happiness, that goal, that thing we're trying to manifest. And part of it is what you've gone through. I love that we just got that confirmation, manifest. As I said it, thank you, Spirit. You know, but we do have to believe. And I think sometimes that's the hardest part, believing in our limitless potential. But when we take that time, like I was saying, to kind of look through all that we have overcome, it helps us validate ourselves. It helps us remind ourselves of the empowerment that we do hold. And we don't have to let other people, places, and things, the bullshit, keep us down. Release it. Let it go. I also feel like this is that element of allowing yourself to grieve. We have a lot of water energy right now, just in terms of planetary placement with the full moon. Water energy means it really provokes our emotions, our feelings, that illusion at times. It's also this value that our intuition is a little bit more refined. We have support in that department. And so it's a blessing in the way that we can allow ourselves to use those tools to tune in and then to navigate, right? But we have to get rid of the stuff that clogs that. I'm looking at that waterfall spilling out of the moon. The interesting thing, I do love these cards too. The interesting thing is, you know, a lot of this is the process, the cycles that we're going to be moving through over the next couple weeks until the new moon in the beginning of the year. First new moon. This was our last full moon of the year too. So with that being said, this time period is about reflection and release. It is about restoration, nurturing your heart, your mind, and your soul as you're kind of moving into the new year, right? So we have a lot of potential. Oh, I love this. 9 of Pentacles pops out. We have a lot of potential surrounding us. You know, we've been getting this message lately where it's things are bubbling underneath the surface. Maybe even what you want is right in front of you and it just hasn't like physically manifested yet, is how the energy is playing out. You know, Spirit is really kind of forcing us to see, to learn our lessons. This is about healing. 11:33 on the clock. So the star is ruled by Aquarius, and it is when we believe, when we wish for our, you know, limitless potential. When it didn't come out as fluidly as I had hoped. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to articulate. I say certain phrases a lot and so I'm trying to be a little bit more articulate. Yeah, it makes me feel a certain kind of way when I listen back to it. Okay, so the star allows us to heal, but it also gives us those wishes, you know, that we can get to this place. You know, maybe we've been through a lot, but the star is the promise that we are on the right path and we are getting what we want. We're headed in that direction. Sometimes we just need to take that time out to heal. Sometimes we need to step apart. 1, 2, 3, 4 is on the clock. So confirmation to that movement, to the progression, especially with that Ace of Pentacles, new beginning. It feels strong. It feels sturdy. This message came through for you yesterday. Yeah, so powerful. I actually think that these cards came out together, if I'm not mistaken, and I do shuffle. I think you can see me. But this is a lot about, you know, just tapping into that power. The magician uses the elements in his environment in order to manifest that thing. So, you know, I like the strong, sturdy foundation. To me, this says that you are, again, on the right path, that you are moving in the right direction, having the trust, having the faith. There is some releasing that still needs to happen and some validating, right? Validation, release. When we don't validate ourselves, 4 of Pentacles energy, when we don't validate ourselves, we end up, you know, restricting and limiting, and it really plays on our self-worth. So this, you know, here's the thing. I feel like this message for you today is twofold. There is some self-protection that needs to happen, especially around people that either you've had to cut off, are not vibing with you. You know, I do feel like this energy of really 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, it equals 5 of Pentacles. So the people, places, and things that haven't really been supportive or kind of bring our energy down, we need to still be really conscious of that, especially while we are intentionally working towards a goal. It's that concept of when we're birthing something new, we want to protect it, right? We want to keep it close and safe to our heart, just like you would a newborn baby, right? You're not going to be like, okay, have at it, see ya. No, you're actually going to be, you know, giving it that love, that care, you know, feeding it, nurturing it when it cries, etc. There's so many things, and we protect it, right? Especially if you're a mama, you know what I'm talking about, that mama bear energy. So making plans, I feel like Knight of Swords coming in off that energy is really about strategy. It's about kind of having things down on paper. I like that side of life. Like the practical is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's great to like fantasize and have ideas running through your head, but when we actually put it down on paper, goals, our to-do list, etc. Number one, crossing it off feels amazing. And then number two, it really helps us keep in line. So if we're not sure whether we want to invest in something or not, we can go back to our list and say, does this fit? Does this fit the energy of where I'm trying to go? And the Knight of Swords is really amazing at doing that. He is the proverbial strategist within the deck. That is where your power lies. I think it's actually going to give you a little bit more cohesion is what I'm hearing. So when we just keep things in our head, it can be all over the place, right? We don't really have that solidified direction, and I feel like this is more about containing your power, not to limit it, but again, this magician energy of using the elements to work for you instead of being a hindrance or a sabotage or looping you back into a karmic cycle. Yeah, you don't really want to be a part of. Really focusing on home and family. And this isn't just like I don't feel like this is necessarily like the people you don't see all the time. This is like your immediate environment, where you live, what's in that environment, how you're surrounding yourself with, what you're building towards. Ten of Pentacles is also wealth, abundance, legacy, what we leave to our children or proverbial children, however it fits for you. And so I do feel like the more you kind of have a plan of action, whether it's putting a budget in place, doing a little bit of research, writing out that to-do list, all those things are really going to cater towards that Jupiter energy I was talking about earlier and getting the ball rolling. Jupiter is in it's ruled by the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot. So the wheel is the cycle of karma, so to speak, and we want to keep that wheel moving, right? So we don't get stuck, so we don't get stagnant, and it doesn't limit us. There's something, here's that Five of Pentacles showing up for us. So something is really making us, and this has been kind of a theme lately, is getting sucked into maybe some of those emotions that we've been seeing, the grief, the sadness. It ends up throwing us off balance, and that, that is a place that we lose our power. Not saying it in the vein that you can't grieve or feel bummed out. We also have to find ways to continue to live, right? So there's certain practical tools, like you can set the timer 15, 20 minutes, cry your heart out, there was a recommendation, I think it was actually from a movie or a show. I think it was Shrinking. It's a funny show, but it was like talking about how, you just put on a really sad song and you just bawl your eyes out. That's a great way to do it. Take a walk in nature, when you're feeling down in the slump, find something, whether it's something inspirational, do some affirmations for yourself, meditate, do some breath work, pranayama. I will upload some videos on that stuff. I have, a filing cabinet of all the things that I want to do. I just also have a tendency to take on way too much, and then I can't necessarily maintain. So I'm trying to be a little bit more balanced as I approach the YouTube channel this time of year. So this is basically saying don't get thrown off path with that Page of Wands. Page of Wands is always searching for new things, new territories. It's a fun, exciting energy. It definitely reminds me of that honeymoon period. So I feel like this is saying don't get distracted. Don't get distracted by the people who don't want you to grow, who don't want you to succeed, who are saying something, whether it's catty, gossipy energy, because that's gonna throw you off balance. And also don't get distracted with like shiny things, right? It's about making those plans, putting them down on paper, having a little schedule for yourself, finding more balance, more structure. Structure is really good right now, especially with all that's going on energetically. New relationship is coming in for you. I feel like this is new friends. This is a new group of people. We have Page of Cups, Three of Cups. So that definitely is the energy of new love, new connection. It is very Aquarian in terms of friendship, hopes, and wishes, okay? Seven of Swords, ooh. Wah, wah. Okay, so if you do have, with the Queen of Swords, she came out, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So if you do have, and I loved, ooh, of course, okay, the Devil. Okay, so if you do have people coming back from the past right now, really just like scrutinize what they're saying, how they're saying it to you, what they want from you, etc. Seven of Swords and the Devil is definitely some shady energy, guys. It's like someone who is just like not going about it in a appropriate way. We'll leave it at that. We'll keep it kind of positive. Just someone who is used to doing things a little bit more on the shady side, who has a tricky energy. I feel like this could be, for some of you, this is like someone trying to get back into your good graces. Yep. With this Crater card that just popped out, this is a lot about like the damage that has been done. And you know, we talked about this the other day. Sometimes things can be fixed, sometimes they just can't. Sometimes there is too much damage done, too many craters created, and it's hard to repair those things. Especially, you know, I'm a firm believer that certain things are only meant for our lives for a certain period of time. And if we keep inviting that in, it really only stagnates our growth or our opportunity to be happy and fulfilled. We can't change people. We can only change ourselves. That's the only control we have. And I feel like that message is so important, because a lot of times we can let people sway us, you know, kind of try to dictate and control how we move. Setting boundaries is what I hear with this rope energy. So making sure that you're very aware of your thoughts, how this feels towards you. The thing about the Queen of Swords, which I think is pretty dope, is it doesn't mean that she hasn't been through heartbreak and pain or doesn't feel certain things, but she knows how to set that aside and say, like, just from that practical standpoint, like, is this really serving me? Is this supportive? Is this what I want to engage in? A lot of times we have to just remind ourselves that, you know, especially when it's people coming back from the past, that like we've done this before, you know. This could be past lover. It does also have the energy of friends, maybe even family members. We're seeing a lot of people this time of year. Just be conscious, yeah, because it is, and this message has been pretty consistent, it is about repairing something. I'm just not 100% convinced, and everyone's situation is going to be different, right? Don't just say no to something because I said it. You know, you really have to like feel into yourself how it sits for you, how it resonates. I don't love the Seven of Swords Devil energy. That's like kind of like two of the most low vibey cards in the deck. So whoever this is, it feels like ulterior motives, or, you know, maybe they are disappointed with how things worked out. Maybe they want to reconcile, but the way that they're approaching it is low vibey, you know, it's not honest and authentic. I am a pretty direct person, so I'd rather just have a candid conversation with someone versus, you know, beating around the bush, so to speak. And this definitely feels, okay, we got this knot yesterday as well. So this definitely feels like someone who's, I don't know, it feels very half-assed to me, I'm not gonna lie. And with that Mercury and Mars square to Neptune, it's gonna make pieces of this feel enticing. 5 of Pentacles is feeling left out. When, you know, we're rejected. Rejection is like a hard effing thing to move through. It's, no one likes it. It feels like shit. And this, you know, we can't let that wounding cloud our judgment is what I'm hearing. Yeah, this is about like overcoming. I feel like this is healing ancestral lineage. This is something that maybe has a habit, a pattern, a choice that has been repeated even in your own family, your own lineage. It does feel like, especially with this ancestor card, that you are healing that. You're breaking those bonds. And generally we have one of those types of people in our family who's the black sheep, who's the front runner, who doesn't do things the way that the family does or the way that the family wants them to. So this is a lot about, I feel like it's changing the cycle, right? It's releasing your family, you, those around you, the collective energy even from that karma, from that cycle, and healing it. Yes, I think we can make peace, we can have forgiveness, we can give love where necessary, but we also need to have our boundaries, right? We also need to know what works for us and what doesn't, or else we get sucked into holding on to something for way too long. And unfortunately, sometimes we try to grow and evolve, and the people that we love just don't, and it is what it is, and it's never easy to move through. If that's what you're going through, I'm sending you all the love. I know that energy way too well. And it sucks. It's really, really, really hard. I feel like, especially if you are a sensitive person, that is one of the more challenging things to overcome, is that attachment that we have to wanting the best for others, wanting them to grow and evolve with us. Sometimes, unfortunately, it just doesn't happen, right? And that's the challenge right now around taking the necessary steps that we need to, because there is this lingering, well, what if? Well, the potential, well, maybe this can be this way. And it's basically saying right now, if it's not what it is, then you do need to tap into that Uranian rebellious energy where you're fighting for yourself, your ideas, your truth, your principles. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this message helped. I hope you have a fabulous day, a happy Thursday. We're moving into New Year's Eve celebrations, so I hope you're getting ready and you can just enjoy it. All right, thank you so much. Lots of love and blessings always. I will see you tomorrow.